Oh, my necky. Shit. Hi, everyone. It is me, Sailor Moon, Serena here. And it's me, Sailor Starfighter Dustin here. And today we're going to talk about, is the Deke Sailor Moon as bad as some folks in the Sailor Moon followership say it is? Now, first off, the answer would be no, because it's not as bad as a lot of the Sailor Moon followers and the Sailor Moon followership would say. I mean, yes, it's their belief, yes, it's their thought, but they don't have truth to show it to be bad. I mean, the only truth they have is names being shifted, what else? The songs being shifted out for other songs, near name and street names being shifted, some of the fighting and some of the blood taken away or shifted out, but at the end of the day, they don't have any truth to say that it's bad, Now, first off, where they even came up with that belief was that, well, they saw the Toei one. And in their belief, and again, it is a belief because they have no truth to make this true, they believed that that was, the that was the good one in their belief or in their thought. And when Viz came out, it really did murk up the waters or dirty the waters some between both sides in the Sailor Moon followership. Those who liked the Deke and Pioneer, those who liked the Viz and hated Deke and Pioneers one. But at the end of the day, I don't really truly believe that it was as bad as they say it is, because it is watchable. I mean, first they'll tell you that it's unwatchable due to borrow names being shifted out for other borrowed names. They'll also tell you that it's just unwatchable due to some of the fighting or blood being skimmed or sailor fighters being kidnapped by the Dark Kingdom instead of slain. I mean, they'll have you believe that all those things, make it unwatchable. Or, street names and near names and strike names being shifted or something. They'll have you believe that it is unwatchable and bad, and their belief and their thought due to that. But I don't think it is. At the end of the day, I still think that Deke Sailor Moon is good. And my belief, my thought, I have no way to show it to be true. You got some thoughts on this one? Well, first off, Serena, Sailor Moon, the only thought I could come up with is that by the time Deke would get the rights, but then Deke was owned by Disney at that time, so Disney got the rights. Sailor Stars was already going on, and not between 95 or it already ended. And so I can't say what my take on the Deke or Pioneer Sailor Moon was. All I can say is that Fighters for Love fan dub or follower love dub is W English word, I don't know. That's like the nearest thing that I got to being put in Deke and Pioneer's world. So I don't know to say if it is truly bad or not. But I don't think it is. I think, once again, it's their thought, their belief, them being irked and angered over Daunish borrowed names being shifted out for either Latinist, Frenchish, Spanish, Hebrewish, or, Farsius, or, Hellenist, or even Black Atlantis borrowed names. Being irked and angered over street names and near names being shifted, fighting or blood being shifted out, sailor fighters being kidnapped instead of slain by the Dark Kingdom, Zoisite being a woman in this world. And I could go on with the things that they don't like about it, but that seems to be most of the things they don't like about it. Two sagas becoming one. At the end of the day, I don't think that it's bad. I think it's their belief, their thought that it's bad, but I don't really truly believe it's bad. You're right, Dustin. You're right, Sailor Stellar Fighter. It's not as bad as they would make it out to be. Yes, it's true that Deke Sailor Moon was skimmed, shifted, cleaned, and a lot of the things that were said or done in Viz's Sailor Moon, which was just an English takeoff of the Toei Sailor Moon, was shifted. Yes, it's true. And borrowed names were shifted out for other borrowed names, and other near and street names were shifted out for others. And Zoisite being a woman, the sailor fighters being kidnapped instead of slain by the Dark Kingdom. But beyond all of those things, those are the only truth they have. But at the end of the day, they still can't say that it's bad or unwatchable or no good due to those things. So at the end of the day, I think that Deke Sailor Moon is a good Sailor Moon. Is it everyone's Sailor Moon? No. Not everyone in the Sailor Moon followership likes it, and that's the way, and that's just how it is. But I do not believe it's bad, or unwatchable, So at the end of the day, I think Deke Sailor Moon is good, and it is a Sailor Moon that many Sailor Moon followers, those who like the Deke Sailor Moon and those that hate it, know that if it wasn't for Deke and later on Pioneer or Pathseeker, then there would have been no Viz Sailor Moon. You see, the only grounds to why some folks believe that Viz got the rights to work with Sailor Moon is that there was a need for Sailor Moon in English. And since it was hard to get or even watch the Deke and Pioneer Sailor Moon, they had a need that needed to be filled. So if it wasn't for Deke Sailor Moon, none of these folks would even know what Sailor Moon was, and none of them would have had Viz Sailor Moon if it wasn't for Deke and Pioneer or Pathseeker and what they did. That's it. That's my belief. All right, Sailor Moon. All right, Serena. We can end this film now. Give it film a like, share and playlist it, and we'll see you later.